Gonna start at Music Monday again. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, y'all. It's Monday, which means I think I'm gonna start at Music Monday again. And I think I've been encouraged, after what Clorinda and I did the other day, is to find a way to have a live audience via Zoom. I don't know how that's gonna look, but hopefully that will be somewhat interesting, more interesting than this solo activity right here. And I'll keep you all updated on how that will look. But first, I guess weekend update before getting into Music Monday. So first, Clarinda and I communed our first mass, our mutual admiration society social, where we are creating an intentional space for healing and connecting with each other. A huge, huge shout out to everyone who participated and who shared what self care looks like for them and how the quarantine has changed that. It was not only encouraging because of everyone who showed up, but most importantly, getting to hear from people, from everyone else. Just good old connecting. For those of us who are doing their best to social distance and keep ourselves and our loved ones protected, the isolation can be hard, and we're all attempting to adapt digitally. Hence, partly why I started this video blog I'm daring to call it Talkshow. She and I can't wait to host another one this Friday, so hopefully you can join us at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will put the Facebook page right there so you can check us out. Second, my friend Dr. Laura Myers invited me to speak to her class on Thursday, and I didn't even get a chance to mention that on Friday, but yeah. It was an incredible honor to speak about media, advertising, and representation to her class at Georgia State University. Her class was learning about advertisements and how it affects children, and how to be better consumers as future educators, but she thought of me and all the work that I've done with promoting first the Duchess and then branding that franchise, and now launching again this video blog I'm daring to call a show, and coming in to speak about what it means to create and just kind of peel the curtain back on behind the scenes, so to speak, of what goes into an advertisement, what goes into an advertisement, and then also what do they teach us as actors when we go around promoting products. Fun story, problem, solution. And finally, this weekend, Eddie and I got to get out of the city. We went up to River's Edge to a gay clothing optional campground. And it's easy enough to social distance there because, number one, it's 70 acres of parkland with cabins interspersed, and you can choose to wear clothes or not wear clothes. They shut down all the social activities, but again, very conscious of social distancing because neither one of us want to get sick or die. But for us, it was just a chance to get up and change the scenery and get into nature a bit. I always find getting into nature very helpful for me to ground myself, and not only that, but it reminds me of the Romantics, the genre in the 1800s, and specifically, I wandered lonely as a cloud. Now, that's literally the only line I know of it, but that's what the idea of going back to nature conjures for me. Also, it conjures up Sophia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, but that's a whole different segment. And I guess this all does kind of relate to Music Monday. Because going up there, I felt sadness. Sadness for how the quarantine has changed life. Usually when he and I go up to River's Edge, it's a chance for the two of us to be social and be nudist amongst other people, socializing by the pool or at the events they throw, dance parties, drag shows, movie nights. But none of that is in play. And I knew it going up there. Another facet of life, I found myself mourning and grieving. And when I am feeling emotional, I turn to music. I found myself listening to The Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine as we took a nostalgic ride through my alma mater of UGA in Athens. I showed him the quad where I made my life freshman year, even though I didn't necessarily live that quad, but my best friend Laura at the time did, and we spent every single day after class there just adjusting to life on campus. And in thinking about the incoming freshmen who won't have that experience. And that song, Dog Days Are Over, really defines Athens for me, especially as I was leaving, which I alluded to in previous episodes of why I left. No, I just needed a break. Anyways, it was just a release of nostalgia. Those dog days are over, the heady, carefree days, and processing stuff, and not only then when I left Athens the first time, but also the dog days of whatever life is now gone. And in getting up there, there's to River's Edge, there's a morning of where I am now specifically. I'm a trans woman coming into a gay space, and I have a whole episode relating to that later on. But Defying Gravity was my song for dealing with that over the weekend. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. And, man, gonna get into that song, Feature Music Mondays. This is really just a hodgepodge of songs. And of course, there is the backdrop of going up there, of going from, and I hate using this terminology, but going from blue territory to red territory. The inherent fear I feel in coming up into those places where the Trump Pence flags and banners fly, and as a black queer trans person, I am filled with all sorts of angst about that until I get to the campground. And even then, it's predominantly white gay men, and, well, if you're a queer person of color, then you know how that can get. But it wasn't problematic, but sometimes it is. Anyways, long story short, the first song I played when we got up there on the speaker was Black Parade by Beyonce, because, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And then Eddie and I rocked out to Nina Simone's I Wish I Knew How It Feels to Be Free. I wish I had the time to go into all these songs and what they were feeling for me, but long story short, music was my therapy this weekend, because for the way that nature usually is my therapy, when I go up there, it wasn't working because of the circumstances and the location. But let's just circle back around to Nina Simone's I Wish I Knew How It Feels to Be Free, because this is Music Monday after all. Listening to her sing that song, and I've had it on repeat for the past 5 years. I think I first really listened to it after the Charleston shootings. And then in 2016, leading up to the election, and then after the election, going to and from rehearsal, that was literally the song I played on repeat. I think I listened to it solid straight for probably 2 weeks at one point in my life. And if you haven't listened to the song, I recommend going and taking a listen, because then you can see what it means to be me, and all of the other lyrics that Nina Simone sings about so beautifully. Anyways, yeah. So this is a scattered Monday, but in all honesty, these past few days have been filled with a pendulum of emotions, and I'll hopefully try and dissect it over the next few days. But hopefully your weekend was good. And if you've been processing COVID corona grief somehow, please, please, please share. Make me feel less lonely. What do you miss about the before times? What changes have been hard to adapt to? If you feel so inclined to, you can come and join us. You can come join Claire and I on Friday and talk about grief and what you miss, how things have changed, and other aspects of this corona grief. Come and chat at Mass. We convene at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really hope to see you there. It was really powerful to hear how people have been dealing with corona and quarantine and isolating so far, and what care practices they've implemented. Really, that's all I have for today. It was a very scattered Music Monday, but hopefully you'll go and give Nina Simone a cool listen. As always, keep bearing the lightness of being. I love you all, and until next time. I do have a teacup here, but I'm drinking out of this one. This one is not empty, but it should be. Anyways, love you. Bye.